Welcome to NocBro Nation.
Welcome back, guys.
Hey guys, today we're here to bring you a Walking Dead comic book discussion on who are the Commonwealth.
Yes, so if you have not read issue 175, spoiler alert, please stop what you're doing, go read issue 175, then check out our review video, then come back to this video for some detailed information.
Some deets. All right, so let's get into it. Obviously, in 175, we got introduced to a large community, the largest community called the Commonwealth.
Yes, they are 50,000 large. They have a stadium for football and concerts. They possibly have a massive suburb that they're living in. I doubt they're living in like a big hotel because they have street names, you know, from apparently.
Yeah.
But basically, what I was kind of grasping at straws are, okay, if you have a football stadium and concerts, that makes a lot of noise. So how are you not, how are they controlling walkers around their area?
Yeah, we have a lot of questions. Let's kind of separate this video into two parts.
All right.
We'll start off with what we know about the Commonwealth.
Right.
And then we'll go into questions. What we know about the Commonwealth: large military.
Yep. Large.
Very large military.
Very large. Very equipped. They have a lot of armor, a lot of weapons.
Well trained.
For one, where did they get all these weapons and armor from? Or did they just make these on their own from parts from cars, maybe?
Yep.
Things like that. We don't know. The other biggest thing is, who are their leaders? Well, we possibly assumed it would be Stephanie. But from
and it very well still could be.
It could be. I mean, from 175, Lance Hornsby was the one that takes the entries, and he mentions that Stephanie didn't have the authority to make this decision upon everyone else. So does Stephanie have a part? She's maybe at this level. Lance is maybe a little bit above her. Is there someone else?
It simply could be Lance hiding her identity. I mean, look, when you have a leader of a large community like that, are you going to want to tell everyone who it is right away? Or are you going to want to kind of keep that a secret for those who only need to know that? Obviously, people of the Commonwealth. So we don't know too much about that. What else do we know? They travel by horses, obviously. They have the livestock. They have the supplies to get things done the way that they want to.
And also, where are they getting all this? Where are they getting all supplies to provide for 50,000 people? Food, water, shelter, like we already said, guns and armor, ammo.
Yep. What else do we know?
Electricity for a stadium. I mean, come on. Unless they just play during the day.
We know they have a stadium, and we know that they have a large territory, right? Yeah. It's got to be large to hold 50,000 people. Like you said, I highly doubt it's a hotel. From the view that we got in the panel, that was just kind of a beginning
piece of it.
And I get the sense that they're probably in a large,
it's going to be huge.
City or community.
It's going to be huge. I mean, this is just more of an overview because we really don't have a lot of information. Yeah. These are just kind of thoughts and ideas of kind of what we're thinking about.
Let's get into some questions that we have.
Yeah.
Right?
All right. Let's hear it.
You brought up some of them. Where are they getting the supplies from? Yeah. Let's address that first. Ammo can easily be created. Scavenged or created like Eugene is in the machinery compound. Yeah. So maybe they have another individual like a Eugene, or probably several at this point. Because look, the more people you have, the more resources and intelligence you can gather up, right? There's probably several Eugenes in this community that are servicing as, the scientists, right?
Right. Yeah. What was the other questions? We already mentioned food, water.
Yeah.
Food, water, being able to survive, basically. Where are they getting all this from? Is it part of this community that they're in, that they had a decent supply of it? Do they go out and scavenge for it? Do they take, I wouldn't say like the saviors, but I mean, what do they do to get this stuff for 50,000 people to survive?
Yeah, there's got to be a huge farming community in there, I'm assuming. There's got to be some type of livestock in there too. My questions are mainly for internal purposes of the inner workings of the Commonwealth. More importantly, how do they handle the death? You know, we know that reanimation, becoming a zombie, happens after you die. With 50,000 people, how do you handle someone dying and protect the entire community from a possibility of another outbreak, right?
That's true. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, because it seems like to even become a member, they go through a process. So maybe they go through some type of process as, okay, you look out for everyone. If somebody dies, you take care of it, and then however they discard the bodies, whatever. But like you said, exactly, that's a good question. How do they deal with that? Because, you know, they're living like day to day. You're going to have people grow old. They're going to die. They might get sick. They die.
Yeah.
How do they deal with it?
Yeah, and obviously a big community like that, they probably have a law enforcement. They probably have a police force.
Yeah.
Whether they have a separate faction, as in the white guards, and this is where I'm going onto another cover.
Red.
Yeah, the white guarded people are the troops that go outside the gates. Maybe the red geared, which we see in cover 176. I think it's 176.
Yeah, 176.
We see a red armored
Can't remember
individual.
his name, Sergeant something or something like that.
Yeah, so very interesting.
That's true, yeah.
It'll be interesting to know what those ranks mean. Obviously, different color-coded armor, if what that means.
I'd say one of my other questions that I would like to know is how long they've been around. Was this a community that started immediately at the outbreak, or did it slowly grow over time to where either Lance started it or Stephanie, who was like the true founder that started and say, okay, the biggest thing that we want to do is we want people. And that's the thing that Lance said, is that we want people. We want the many people as we can. So did they start immediately from the outbreak because they were already a big community there and it just grew from that? Or did they go out and pull people in and get the word out to say, come to the Commonwealth and come,
Did they have other battles or wars like our community had, right?
Yeah. Did they come across the saviors at all?
We know that Lance doesn't trust that well, like Eugene. So with that broken trust, with that need to go through a process and ask questions before you trust someone, tells me that they've had problems with other crews, other communities, possibly even wars like Alexandria.
It makes sense.
Again, and that goes back to kind of the history. Well, we get some history of this particular community.
Yeah,
so
that makes sense.
It's very interesting to kind of talk about this stuff and go back and forth on it, right?
Yeah. That's kind of all I have. There isn't. I think we've kind of touched everything. There isn't really too much.
I've got a lot more.
I don't even know.
Another thing I want to talk about is their communications. We know that they obviously have a radio. Stephanie was able to communicate with Eugene on that radio. Do they have more? What's their telecommunications systems look like? Me being in IT, look. Do you have a router set up in your house?
Yeah. Do you have Wi-Fi? No. I could see definitely radios being used. Finding batteries for them.
That's another thing. Like, where are you getting your energy from? Exactly. And you said that when you talked about the stadium, like where, obviously,
unless they're doing it during the day, at night you're gonna have to power those lights, which. And the electrical grid is gone.
And noise control, like you were saying. And maybe that's how they know the magenta herd. Because the reason why we have these many concerns about this is because it's a large group of people.
Massive. I mean, you got to think.
And sound attracts walkers.
Yeah,
so
you have to think the survivors, we've only had, how many were in like Alexandria? 100 maybe 50,
maybe 300 tops.
300 tops. So you got to think of the Rick and everybody, of how many people they've had in each community. 50,000. That's a lot of people
insane.
To maintain. Like you said, you got to have order. You got to have to know what you're doing when people die. You got to supply food and it's just, how are they doing this?
It almost makes you wonder if some semblance of the United States government is in this community. If it's that well put together. It is in Ohio. So I don't think there were any government offices. I don't think there are many government offices in Ohio. So it'd be very interesting to know if that's the case as well. There is one cover of this arc where we get a look at a lady that seriously appears to be sitting in the Oval Office.
Looks like she's the new president. You know,
I think that might be 176. And 177 is the red armored guy. Anyway.
Yeah, you might be right. Because she seems, we don't know who she is. We kind of assuming it might be Stephanie, but it could be maybe the main honcho, the main person that determines whether people come in or not. Lance goes out, does the interviews, and she is the final say as to who she'll let in and out. That could be true.
Yeah, it's very interesting. I just can't wait to see the actual... I hope they give us a shot of the entrance.
Yeah.
Obviously, we're probably going to see some type of gated area. But yeah, guys, let us know what your thought of the Commonwealth is. What questions you have that maybe we forgot about the Commonwealth, too. Because this is a great discussion to have. Before we get any further in the arc.
Yep. So let us know. Comment below of any questions you have or answers or any questions of what we provided in this video. Stay tuned for more because we're going to have a lot of questions.
Yeah,
a lot of details coming up.
We might even have a couple more videos spawn off of this.
Exactly. All right, guys. We'll talk to you later. We'll see you soon. We're NocBro Nation. We're out.